Well, hello everybody. Here we are again. Winter's closing in, it's getting bloody cold. Anyway, the bolts have turned up for the calipers at long last, and they're too long. I kind of knew they were going to be too long, and I'll tell you why in a second if we just pull that out. Now, the original bolts from Kawasaki, which are £6.78 each, plus carriage, one bolt, £6.78, they're 36mm long. Now, when I've looked up bolts to get cheaper alternatives, which these are, they come in 35mm or 40mm. Now, 35mm is probably a millimetre too short. You think, well, that probably won't make no difference. And it might not, I don't know. But I went for the 40 on the assumption that it's easier to cut a bit off than it is to try and add a bit back on. Now, if I just nip that bolt up like that, and then I don't know how well I can get this in here, but if you can see, that head of that bolt is just about touching the disc. So I am going to shave off a couple of millimetres, because I'd rather do that than pay Kawasaki's extortionate price for weird length bolts. Now these, just for reference, were about the same price for 10 as what Kawasaki wanted for one. So you can see why I went this direction. So anyway, I am going to lop a little bit off that, and then we'll come back and we'll try and get this brake up and running. Right, they are now made to measure, and the torque spec, 25 Newton meters. I just looked it up. Don't seem very tight, but 25 is what they say. And also, these pins that hold the brakes, there's actually a torque spec for them, which I just stumbled across, which is 18. So we will torque those up to the correct spec as well. Right, that is on. Next job, let's see if we can find a brake hose. I've got a new one somewhere. Get it plumbed up into the master cylinder and see if we can get a front brake on this bad boy. Right, anyway, let's start this brake. That guide just there, I've just fitted. There's one around the other side as well for the speedo cable. I think I've fitted that one as well while I'm at it. So we have, zoom in on that, as you see in an earlier video, we fitted a spanky brand new master cylinder, and to accompany that spanky brand new master cylinder we have a nice, no expense spared, Chinese braided hose. So we will endeavour to fit that. Which way goes what? Does that go that way, presumably? I don't know. Anybody think I've done it before? So these are not copper washers, these are what they call doughty washers. It's like a washer with a rubber insert. I suppose copper washers would do, but this is what it came with. This is what it's getting. And then hopefully we can route it through there. You can't even see what I'm doing, can you? Take my word for it then, won't you? Very springy, bouncy, this thing. It was a cheap one, I'll be honest with you, because bloody spider hanging off me. But yeah, it's oh, fucking. I'll tell you what, it shows I don't move very much, doesn't it? Because I've got spiders, I've got time to build cobwebs on me. Anyway, get that plastic thing through there. I think that's how it goes. And then down at the caliper end, two more Doughty washers on here. No, one Doughty washer on here. I have to make sure that don't leak because it's got a different type of washer on one side, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, come on. Behave yourself. Just get it started like so. Then we can worry about how we route it. Yeah, it'll do. It's not great, but it'll do. Right, grab a spanner. Right, nip that up. And top end, how do we want to route that? Right, 8mm. So what we should do really is put a pipe on this, but back off the bleed nipple. And we're going to try and pump it up a bit. And when we've pumped it up a bit, we hold the lever in, close the nipple, feel it. Still no break. Check the fluid level, we're good. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And I'm just going to carry on doing that until hopefully we've got a brake pedal. We may have a problem. Right, I've got a brake and it works. I've got a good brake and it stops it. But the trouble is, that's binding badly. So we may end up with a new caliper after all. We'll see. We'll probably pull it apart again and see if we can find an issue. But I've had it apart once and I don't know. Took ages to bleed it as well, and we've got a damn good brake now. Plenty of feeling on the lever, but yeah, she's binding up. So yeah, well, I think we'll call it a day for today. That's pissed me off a bit. We'll do a bit more another day. Right, I've took this caliper off and took it apart, and I've got to be honest, the pistons are not fantastic. We're going to see how much new ones are. I think it'll probably want a seal kit as well, as I've removed the pistons, and this one here has come that far out, and this is pumping it with the brake to force it out. That one's popped, and obviously that's took all the pressure away, but I can't shift this one. Cannot shift it. And I know I'm going to wreck it trying to grab it with these grips, but it will not turn. Oh, hang on, I've got a bit of movement on it there. But I think I'm going to have to wreck it to get it out, because it's just not playing. So yeah, right, I'm going to call it a day. I think I said that already in all once, but I'd take that off just to see what the crap was. I'm going to go and find out what a seal kit will cost, if I can get one, and what a piston and seal kit will cost, because I think I'm going to need that. Anyway, cheers guys, catch you later. Good morning everybody, and welcome to the comfort of my living room. What am I doing here? Right, on my hand I have a clipboard, and I'm going to do something that I've never done before with any of my projects. Now this is regarding the Kawasaki, you can just about see it there, BN125 Eliminator. I'm going to keep a running total of everything I spend on it. Now this might scare the shit out of me, which is probably why I've never done it before, because I don't want to know what I'm spending. Now, I have mentioned previously, and I'll mention it again now, me tinkering with bikes is a hobby. Nobody that I know has a hobby that is free. You know, if you play golf, if you go fishing, whatever you do, it costs money. Now, with many of my projects, I get the option to sell them on when I'm finished. And I may or may not make a profit. I don't care, I'm not in it to make a profit, I'm in it because I like messing with bikes. So, just to save the comments, you know, yeah, you've spent way too much on that bike, you know, you're never going to make any money. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm not in it to make money, I'm in it to mess with bikes. So, anyway, that aside, what we can see here is our initial purchase price, £275. That is the initial cost. And if we move down the list, the bike had no V5. So £25 for a V5. The battery, £29.99. The fork gaiters, £11.51. Didn't buy them for this bike, I bought them for the GPZ. Can't see that, just try and get you in focus. I bought those for the GPZ. They didn't fit, decided to use them on this, £11.51. The brushes for the starter motor came in at £18.80. Stickers, you haven't seen them yet. I've got some stickers which I may or may not use, I'm not entirely sure I like them, but they were £6.60, included them for now. Another thing you haven't seen, ball bolts, £3.99. We'll go into them, why I've bought them and what they're for, and even what they are at a later date. It's just a little idea I had to fix something on the bike with ball bolts. Anyway, we'll add them for now. Fork seals, £12.99. The front tyre, bit of a bargain I think, £24.47. What else we got? We flange nuts. Now I've put £1.32. I bought a bag of flange nuts. If I need a couple of bolts, I don't just buy a couple of bolts. I buy 10 or 20 or 30 and then keep them in stock to lose them later, and then can't find them and then buy some more. So I've bought a bag of flange nuts. I think these were for the, when I did the, do you know what, I'm going to cross them off because they were not, they were for the GPZ now I think about it. So yeah, I think we'll lose them. We'll cross them off. M6 castle nut and washer. M16 again. I've got that mixed up. That was the wheel nut and bolt. I'm going to lose them. So yeah, we'll take them off because that was for the GPZ. I'm getting me mucking nerds fuddled. Master cylinder. There, this was a bargain. The master cylinder for the Kawasaki with a nipple and a braided hose. All of those things together, £17.50. Bargain, AliExpress. Moving on, brake pads £7.25, front wheel bearings were a fiver, that was M&P, bargain that was, even though I don't like the company. Headstock bearings £22.95, rear wheel bearings £9.31, bolts various plus caps. Again, this is, I bought some bolts and some little caps that go in the top of the bloody, where the Allen bolts in the handlebars. I've put some little plastic caps. Again, a £3 because I bought a load of them and I'm not used them all on this bike. Speedo cable I've bought, you haven't seen me fit it yet, £6.75. How are we getting this in focus? We're not very good at this, are we? A clutch switch, again, you see me on there, break the one that was on there. I have ordered another one, not fitted it yet, £9.99. U-bolts, again, that's an idea I've got. I bought some U-bolts for, I'm going to try and fit them passing lights. When I fitted that bracket, remember I didn't like it, I took it off again. I've got another idea how I can attach them with some U-bolts. I've bought them, whether I use them or not I don't know. So that gives a running total of 502.02. I then remember that I bought some paint and lacquer. Again, you haven't seen it yet, but that was £21.51. So yeah, deduct off them bits that I've put on by mistake. We're around about 510 quid so far, and we have got a long way to go. So I'll try and keep this updated, and I'll keep you guys you know, up to speed in what I spend on it. What do you think this bike would be worth, just out of interest? I don't care if I do make a profit, but I think I'm still well in at the minute anyway. I think all up and running, mechanically perfect, even if it's a bit cosmetically challenged, I think it's worth £1,000. Am I in the right ballpark, do you think, guys? But anyway, 510 quid roughly we're about so far. Lots and lots of more to go on. It really is. That bike's in a bad state. But anyway, that's where we are so far. I'm going to get myself in the shed, and we've got a big problem with that brake at the moment, the front brake. We'll talk about that when I get out there. Cheers. Right, we are back up and at it. Now, I recalculated that list, and so far we are £520 into this bike. But, as mentioned, I'm in trouble with this brake. I've got the pistons out, as you saw. Now, this one here, at a push, I might be able to reuse it. I mean, there's some damage at the top there, but that probably won't pass the seals. These things, believe it or not, from Kawasaki, 58 quid each. Are they on drugs or something? This one, however, I did momentarily consider reusing it, but no, look at it. It's absolutely mullered. I did that, you know, admittedly, trying to get the damn thing out. It was that fixed in there. So, what are my options? Brand new from Kawasaki. Quite reasonable, but expensive nonetheless. I thought it would be more than this, but a complete caliper from Kawasaki is £217. I'm not going to spend that, but for Kawasaki, when they want 58 quid for one of them, but you can get an entire caliper for 217 quid. Not bad. There's one on eBay, 50 quid. I did make him an offer of 30 quid for it, and he turned me down. Do I want to pay 50 quid and then it's probably no better than what I've got? This is what I'm thinking. Another option, probably the one I'm sort of leaning towards, but expensive again, £47.50 for a complete rebuild kit. That's all the seals, all the rubber parts, 2 new of these things here and 2 new pistons. £47.50 plus postage, be over 50 quid. So whatever way we look at it, it's going to cost me well over 50 quid plus to get this front brake working. I've already replaced every other part of it. It's got a new master cylinder, it's got a new cable. There is another option. There's a couple of guys breaking them without listing specific parts. They're breaking them. So I've just sent exactly the same message to 2 breakers asking how much for a complete sissy bar for the backrest, the sissy bar, a speedo and a caliper. Buy all 3 of them as a package deal. Now I'm hoping that one of them is going to say something around about 100 quid. If they do, I'll buy it, but I think they're just going to get silly and greedy and come back with like 250 or something stupid like that. But we'll let you know about that anyway. I'm going to bag that all up and we'll just forget about the front brake for the time being, because I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do. We will move on to, we've still got this to do. I'll probably do that soon, repair that crack. We painted up the inner for that, so we'll try and fix that up. But before I do that, the new clutch switch is here. That's a 5-minute job. I think we'll just whack that on. Let me just go and grab it. Right then, this is the new clutch switch. It's already on my running total. I added it on £9.99 for that. Can't remember where from. One mistake I did make is these little screws that hold it on. I binned them thinking there'd be new ones coming with a new switch. There wasn't. So I had to go rooting around in the bin. Fortunately I was able to find them. Yeah, we're not going as daft as looking up a torque spec for these. Why is that not going in? I need a mirror, so I'll loosen it off. And yeah, let me loosen it off and rotate it. Just a second. Why make life difficult? Let's do it the easy way. Loosen that off. Turn it. Like that. Well, I did have it in the right hole. It just weren't starting for some reason. Still ain't starting. Is that going? I think we're away now. So this presumably is to make you pull your clutch in before the starter will operate. Just like a safety thing. I don't know the way that's going in. It's quite stiff, but it has tightened, so I think we're good. Okay, and then that simply plugs in there. Simply plugs in there, I said. There we go. Thought it wasn't going to fit for a second then, because it is a pattern part. And then let's get that about level with the other one, which is about there. Tighten her up again. Simple job done. Right, I'm going to try to repair this mudguard. And what we've got here is this well-known Zhang, whatever that's called, epoxy glue. It's 2-part epoxy glue. Chinese, I've used it before, it seems to be pretty good. So we will, I need to fix my letterbox as well, so I will mix up some of this, repair my mudguard, and then go and repair my letterbox. But don't worry, I won't subject you to a YouTube video of me repairing my letterbox. Is that about right? I don't know. It's a bit 50-50, isn't it? God, it stinks. And I will show you what my plan is. Come over here. So we've got this big crack in this mudguard. Now what I plan to do is spread this along each side of the crack. Probably not supposed to touch this shite with your fingers, but who cares? Yeah, I've not really done enough, but it'll have to do. We have a plan. So I've spread that. Oh, what a fucking mess. Where's my bit of rag gone? That'll do. So what I've done, as you can see, is I've spread that epoxy glue either side of that crack, and now I'm going to drop in, get this the right way round, drop that in there, so that effectively I'm gluing the mudguard to that metal thing. Let me get some little mole grips. I'm sure I've got some little titchy ones somewhere. Yeah, I have. And they're rusted to bollocks. Oh, I can tell the last time I used these, can't you? Let's get some maintenance spray on them. I think these are bollocks. They'll free up eventually, I suppose, but no, they're no good. Right, let's use mole grips, and we'll just try and be gentle, because what I want to do is clamp the plastic to the metal. Like so, and then we can leave that to dry, but while we're waiting we get a couple of rivets in here. That's how it was done at Kawasaki, those rivets. That's not me bodging, that's actually how Kawasaki did it. So let's get some rivets in there. Even suggest that I would bodge something. Outrageous. I can't find me rivet gun. Let me find that, just a sec. Yep, found it. Knew I had one somewhere. Lovely jubbly. like a pro. Not. Oh, that didn't work. That did. Sort of. That worked. Yeah, it's not grabbed it very well. So yeah, anyway, you get the gist of it. So we'll let that epoxy glue dry. Might get a couple of self tappers in there, I don't know, and then we'll do a light skim of filler over that, paint her up, job's a good one. Right, I have carried out a somewhat sketchy repair on this mudguard, so shoot me down in flames, I don't care. Right, the rivets weren't really holding it, so I've replaced those with nuts and bolts, and through the other side I've got to hack them off obviously, but I've Loctited them on. They should be nice and firm. With regards to the crack, I've drilled holes, I've recessed them as you can see, and then put self tappers in to hold that down, so probably didn't really even need the 2-part epoxy. And again, they're through the other side. We'll take them down with a grinder, and then all we've got to do, skim a bit of filler over that, minimum thickness, and I reckon that'll do the job. Right, I'm going to do that. Okay, right, I've ground off all of those screw heads and bolts and shit like that, so I'll give that a blast of paint in there. I've also given a pass of filler over the top. Yeah, I know it's a bit dodgy, but another one of my skills that are lacking is filler. The filler I've used is this big boy, obviously, flexible. It's actually designed to move a little bit for filling plastic mudguards, for example. So unfortunately, I think my hardener went a bit funny. It all split open and it didn't look too healthy, so I've chucked it in anyway. It'll either harden or it won't. That's actually added quite a bit of weight to that as well. Most of it will be sanded off though. Right, we'll let that go off and see how successful we are at smoothing it out and making it look like it shouldn't be there, or it should be there. Right, that'll do for now. Right, while I'm waiting for that filler to go off, I've just fitted the indicators and the headlight bezel. Now they have to go on together because one bolts to the other. The headlight bezel is fixed down there. I had one of them donuts missing on the original, but I found one, so that's done properly. And then the indicators clamp round the forks, but also go and bolt to that headlight bracket with a little riser. And the wires are fed into a clamp there, which I couldn't figure out at first, but I did in the end. And then the indicators are fed right through into the headlight. So we're ready to put the headlight in. The reason I've fitted that bezel is because I've got this crazy idea. Remember this lump of metal I showed you earlier? It's a bit rough at the minute. I've cleaned it up a little bit with a grinder. But I was wondering, and I'm looking at it now, I don't think it might be possible, but whether that could be U-bolt clamped to those forks somehow, and then manufacture some extensions of it to fit those running lights that we had on earlier. So I'm probably going to have a play around with that off camera, see how that works out, and if it's any good I'll show you. Right, what am I trying to do here? I want to make a bracket, as mentioned before, for the passing lights, and I'm not quite sure exactly where this is going to go, but I need to clamp this to the forks. Now I've measured the width of the forks. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'm not an expert fabricator by any stretch of the imagination, but I've measured the width of the forks. I found the centres. I've marked some holes, some markings on here as you see, and we are going to mount and drill 2 holes that the U-clamp will bolt through, and then I'm going to attach this piece of metal. I know this sounds a bit crude. I'm going to attach this piece of metal to the forks. If that looks okay, don't worry about this scruffy, I can smooth all that off and paint it and everything. I can then fabricate off the end of this piece of steel a bracket that will actually mount the spotlight on. That's the plan. I don't know if it will work out, but I am going to mark 2 holes that I want to drill on each of this. We'll fire up the drill and get those opened out. This is another piece of equipment I have in my shed that I don't make anywhere near proper use of, and probably never will. Right, where's that lump of metal gone? But occasionally I use it, and today it's just such an occasion. So the platform a lot higher. Better. Can you even see what I'm doing? Are you even bothered? So rack is in an unfortunate position, isn't it? But we'll try and get you in. I'm sure you've seen someone drill a hole before, but either way, I'm doing it. You can press really hard with this drill press without realising you're actually pressing hard, and the result is you end up breaking drills. Like I said, not an expert fabricator, but we try, we do our best. Anyway, you get the gist. I'm going to open all them out to 8 or 9 mil, see if it fits. Right, I've got all those holes drilled, as you can see, and those U-bolts go through absolutely perfectly. So I actually measured something properly. If we go to the bike, unfortunately we're out of time, so we can't actually go for a test fitting now, but on the bike itself, hopefully those holes go either side of the forks, which they do. So we are going to be able to clamp that, U-bolt that to the forks. Whether there's enough space to get it behind the headlight or not is something we're going to have to find out another day, because as I've said, Grandad duties call. One pick my granddaughter up and entertain her for the afternoon. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. We'll pick this up maybe tomorrow. Cheers.